Hello, everyone. Welcome to Azure Security Center in the Field, episode 4. First of all, thank you very much for all the feedback that we've been receiving about the other episodes and even suggestions about what should we record. And today, I have someone here that has been leading Azure Security Center team for a really long time and is here to talk about a brand new capability that we release primarily for the CSPM scenario. I'd like to welcome from our ASC engineer team in Israel, Meital Taran-Gutman. Meital?
Hi, everyone. Happy to join the AC in the field session. Very exciting.
Thank you, Meital. Meital, before we start talking about this new capability, can you just introduce yourself, talk about what you do at Microsoft, ASC team in particular, and some of your projects that you are working on?
Yes, of course. So I've been with Microsoft for the last 7 years. More than 4 of them in the Security Center product team. Been happily seeing this product grow from really almost an inception idea internally here in ILDC and grow to this really great product used by many of our customers. Some of the main area that my team works on today is what we call Cloud Security Posture Management, which covers our main KPI, Secure Score across Azure, the security recommendations and policies that are evaluated on top of it, the main experience, the dashboard, all the specific scenarios around that, and all the leading functionalities built on top of the security posture, like automation, like enhancement of the community, like visibility, which comes into play with the new inventory experience, a lot of the main scenarios that cross the different feature, like pricing, billing, those kind of more wide areas.
Yeah, that's
And that's it for now.
that's a lot of things.
Fills my
Yes,
time.
that's a lot of things the team covers. We had Miri in the past talking about specifically Secure Score. It was a great episode. And today, this particular capability that we are going to talk about is brand new. We released recently, inventory, and I've been testing this feature since it was in private preview, early private preview when we start testing, and it's quite amazing. It's really fast. The UI team, Azure Security Center UI team, again makes things way easier to navigate. So big kudos to the entire UI team in Israel, Gili and everyone. Absolutely love the UI experience and the feedback that I receive also from early adopters of the feature is that it looks pretty easy to operate and the information is available quite fast, which is really good. So talk us a little bit about this feature, what it is, how it works, what are we doing to make it so powerful?
Okay. So Security Center, one basic but major concept is about visibility, right? Security starts with visibility, especially in the cloud where we don't, the IT is no longer, especially the security team doesn't hold control over the different resources. It's a very dynamic environment. So visibility is key. And that's one of the main goals Security Center comes to offer. One place where you see your entire infrastructure and infra, past services, doesn't matter, across your Azure and hybrid state. And we found that we're lacking some visibility areas more from a convenient way to find things. And we were getting customers ask questions around how can I find all my virtual machines that are missing an agent? How do I find how do I find what are the resources that Security Center
Yep.
covers? Like, where do I see that? Like, very basic,
Yep.
right? And it does exist today, but it's covered under other areas, like in the security
Right.
recommendations, right? In the specific resource health blades, where we show paired different family types, like storage and data. Under compute, where we group all the compute resources, but it doesn't give you one single and very simple way to just see your data, analyze it very fast and easy. So that's where the inventory experience comes into play.
It's this
It
is
should be
this is this fast capabilities because we are running on top of Azure Resource Graph. That's why we are able to retrieve so fast.
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely, we're leveraging all the infrastructure from Azure that we possibly can. One of the latest one is Azure Resource Graph. Basically, it holds all the data, all the current configuration data of the Azure resources, like a cache, where you can query. You don't have to query APIs, call APIs. You can query with KQL language very fast. Everything is indexed really, works really well on thousands and tens of thousands of resources. So
So I
yes,
so
we're using all the experience, the entire experience is based on resource graph.
So that means that the data that Security Center has available, for example, a vulnerability assessment can query a specific string as well, right?
Correct. So all the recommendations data, including the security findings, which are the vulnerabilities themselves, everything that comes from all vulnerability assessment solutions, either for VMs or for containers or SQL, is already stored in Resource Graph today. It can easily be queried. And we have actually documentation about how to use that information today. And all we do in the new inventory experience is surface that in a very convenient user experience. But you can continue using Resource Graph if you want to, customize the queries of what we present
Yeah,
today.
and the other thing that I think is super nice is the fact that you can select multiple subscriptions in the Azure portal and just query across all the subscriptions.
Right. Well, aggregated view and a single view is something that's been, again, from the early days of Security Center, I think, one of the first services in Azure that showed something that is aggregated across. And that also part of what available also in inventory and in Resource Graph itself, which is also fully RBAC enabled, right? So you can use the same query for different users. Each of them will get the data back based on their access permissions. Very strong infrastructure to
So
use.
as far as I understand, there is no hard code number of subscriptions that must be selected for the inventory capability to work, right? I mean, if you have 100 subscriptions selected, it will query across 100 subscriptions, right?
Right.
Okay. That's great. So let's now alternate here for the demo. I know that you have some demo here, so let's go through that, and then you can show how that works.
Sure. Great. So this is Security Center. Just for I selected my scope is 4 different subscriptions that I have access to. The inventory is right on the top. It's one of the main pillars of work. If I open it, obviously I start by this is running an arg query, right? A KQL query on top of Resource Graph. And what I see is, first of all, I can see the total number of resources. This is important to note that these are the resources that Security Center monitors. It's not all the resources that I may have in those 4 subscriptions. Um, I can see I have about, almost 30%, right, unhealthy resources. This means I have 13, almost 1,400 resources with active recommendations on them that I need to attend. I get it right from the first view. I can also see I have 26 unmonitored ones. So unmonitored is specifically means to monitoring capabilities like agent installation or agent health. That's a major issue with a lot of customers where they need to take action and need to provision and need to fix and make sure no one tampers with. So this is a very important view. And I can see the list of resources. I can see the names. I can click on any one of them and dive into the details of the resource. Of course, I have resource type, the subscription, and the agent monitoring, which is also portrayed in the summary where I showed it before. But I also see the actual status. All the entire grid, of course, is filtered and can be sorted. And I also see at the end the recommendation status. So I can see I have how many recommendations, active recommendations, red ones and green ones, which are completed, means I have no action to take. So I also have a lot of filters. We started with the main few that, based on customer feedback, we identified that are interesting. For example, let's say I'm looking for, I just want to see those 26, right? The ones that are, the agent monitoring. Let's say I want to find those that are unmonitored. Okay, or partially monitored. Partially monitored may mean that the agent is installed, but there's a problem, like a configuration problem or something missing. Okay, so I have about 41. Unmonitored is only 26 of those. So the partially monitored ones, I need to attend as well. I can click and then figure out what are the problems and drill in. I can also clear that. And for example, let's say I'm focusing on a very specific recommendation. I just want to see all the resources that have a specific recommendation I want to attend to, right? For example, auditing on SQL servers should be enabled, right? I want SQL servers that don't have auditing enabled. So I have 6. I have 6 SQL servers in different subscriptions, all in standard tier. I already see their status, right, from pricing perspective, and all of them are missing updates. Auditing.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Something that we plan to do is actually have an ability to fix that right from here on all of these. Today, we only show visibility, but we're planning to add additional, of course, actions.
And just one clarification. This view, like I have 6 unhealthy resources. If I click on download CSV report, it will download this view, right? The content that I have right now.
We can actually see that. Right. So the download CSV report is just the output of what you see on the screen. We already have ability to download from several locations in Security Center, but the point is if you already did the work and filter down to whatever is you're focusing on, and now you want to send it to someone else, or you want to work on it offline or something like that, or cross-reference with something, right? Which what a lot of our customers need to do, then you can download this and not start like from the start to filter in that CSV.
No, that's great. Okay. That's an awesome feature.
Another thing I can do, I can open this directly in Resource Graph. Remember, we said everything here is built on top of Resource Graph. So I have this view in Resource Graph Explorer. I can open that. And what I get is I get to Resource Graph Explorer, right? By the way, the security resources class table here, database, is all the data from Security Center. Now, this one is a very long query, but because it shows, we fine-tune it to show exactly the data that you want to show in the grid. Of course, this can be editable. So, for example, if I'm looking for, assessment in specific subscriptions, for example, here, right? In those subscriptions, you can edit that. If we're looking for, this recommendation specifically that I filtered, I can change that. This is the assessment key. I can change that. For example, I want to filter here on Azure, non-Azure,
Hmm.
right? We have the distinction between Azure and non-Azure. I can decide I want to filter on that. So we have a lot of fields here and properties that we don't always show in the grid. And this is where it gets really powerful because the customer can, customize the
Right.
query, and they can also store it. You can store the query here, save. Currently it's in Resource Graph itself, but you can save it for later use and just run it. And you can use it for other capabilities like workflow automation. You can run this query using Logic App even within Security Center to do, periodic reports or something. You can call this query using API and get that data programmatically
Yep.
if you don't want to use the UI. So very extensible.
And customizable, yeah, that's
Um,
great. But on this
yeah,
UI specifically, one of the things that I think is super cool is the capability to query through security findings contain, right? That you can.
correct. Right. So also, even before, just to mention, because it sounds very simple, but because Security Center mainly operates on a subscription level, even just this filter of resource group is highly in demand from customers. Just the ability to pinpoint your security status on a specific resource group is also available here. And regarding security findings, yes. So let's say I'm looking, so our security finding can be a lot of things. It can be a vulnerability. It can be the CVE itself that the vulnerability relates to. It can be an update that is missing, the KB, for example, ID. It can be the name,
Mhm.
right? So let's say I'm looking for a specific CVE. I think it's a Debian one. Sorry. Let's go with this one. Uh, so I have one resource. I looked it up specifically so it will be easy. But this is actually there's a vulnerability on a container registry that is linked to this CVE. So if I want, for example, there's a unique vulnerability that I want to address, and I want to know what's the problem across my organization right now, how wide it is, then I can search for specifics. And when I click on it, I can drill down into the details. Let me
Yeah.
just,
Then you have the
and I
recommendations
go to
experience.
vulnerabilities, right? So I go to the vulnerabilities one, and then here I can find it,
Hmm.
right? This is one of those. So I prepared the name in advance, but okay, never mind. So it's a Debian one. I have a few here, but these are the ones,
Hmm.
right? If I click on it, you can see the CVEs here,
Yep.
right? So this is what it searches.
That's
And then you can really pinpoint that.
Yeah, it's very powerful, and as you said, very customizable. The fact that you can extract the Azure Resource Graph query and customize the way you want is really good.
Yeah, another very comfortable or used filter is tags, of course. This is something, if we're talking about inventory or asset management, tags is the very common way in Azure to do asset management. And, tag by different environments, applications, cost, ownership groups, business units. So it's widely used, and this is something we have from day one here. So you can filter for, resources from, let's say, a specific business owner,
Hmm.
for example, right? Just, you can do any number of tags. Um, yeah, let's go one of the team members. So I can, easily see. And if I go to the resource, I'll see, of course, that tag. And yeah, it makes it easier to manage and get visibility on specific types of resources per your
Yeah.
category of choice.
No, that was a really cool demo. I think, as I said before, the UI is so friendly, so easy to operate, and you have the information right away available for you. And for the more advanced scenarios, they can always use Azure Resource Graph. So, Meital, do you have any final considerations or recommendations for customers that are starting using this capability? Is it still possible to provide feedback on the feature, on things, how to improve and things like that?
Always. First of all, always we listen to every single piece of feedback that is passed to us, either directly for customers that have access to us, or through the feedback loops, or the documentation that is live and you can submit comments. We are going to add here and also ability to direct feedback. So I encourage any user that uses this and has requests for enhancement, changes, bugs, or whatever, to share feedback. We are working. This is just the beginning. We have a lot of plans for this, so I'm eager to see how it rolls out and how it's used. And I hope to see customers use this to actually take action in a smarter way, where they can identify the resources of their interest and that are more meaningful to them, and then take action according to our recommendations.
Yep. And that's a wrap for episode 4. Again, I'd like to thank Meital very much for spending some time here. I know that your schedule is crazy busy, and you are back-to-back meeting all the time, so I truly appreciate the fact that you took some time to record this episode. Thank you very much.
Always happy to talk about our great products.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you for having me.
Thank you very much, and y'all stay tuned for more great episodes. Subscribe to the new Microsoft Security channel on YouTube, so you can receive notifications of new videos that we are uploading. Okay, take care and see you next time.